Hey folks, Hammy here, bit of Overwatch news for you. Another Roadhog hook change is incoming to the public test realm, as well as some buffs to our favourite monkey, scientist. Here's a quick summary of what Hook 3.0 proposed changes will look like when they hook PTR, bit of a change to Roadhog's scrap gun, as well as a buff to Winston. Hooray for that. Firstly, Roadhog. Well, it's been an era of murdering death pigs running around since his Hook 2.0 changes, and of course his Year of the Rooster skin had been released over the last few weeks. For the skilled player, not me, as you can see in this footage here, so do forgive that, Hook 2.0 in retrospect was a bit of a buff to the old Hogfather. Although through space and time, Hooks got sorted a little bit, Hog's newfound consistency with the hook target dropping in front of him is making those one-shot combos a lot more solid. Combined with the only 6 seconds of hook cooldown to kill him or hide again after an encounter, Roadhog is a zoning area denial menace. Looks like Blizzard are trying to tweak the balance of that a little bit. I wouldn't call it a nerf or a buff right now until we can try the effects, but here they are and let's see if they help or hinder things. So the Roadhog changes. Scrap gun is getting a decrease in spread by 20%. Chain hook targets are now being pulled to a place 3.5 meters away, up from 2 meters. That's important, I'll explain that in a bit, as well as the cooldown being increased from 6 to 8 seconds. Now, Jeff Goodman's dev note on the boards just last night, the Roadhog changes overall reduce the power of this hook a bit. That's debatable, but we'll need to see how it works out. We'll have to trust on that. But his gun is now more effective when not using the hook. Now, before these changes are judged, we do need to get on the PTR and see how they feel, but some initial impressions here. It's all going to be about how the combo Roadhog has changes, and if people can use the longer hook cooldown as a team against him with their team composition. Firstly, scrap gun. This decreased spread. In theory, that's some more gun damage, perhaps some more insta-kills with left-click headshots if you're up close and personal, and better general combat effectiveness. But let's see how this trades off with the hook. Right-click can do nasty damage if you're up close and personal, or if people are really caught in that spread. The more planets that land with this decreased spread, it's going to be interesting to see how much a right-click from Roadhog hurts more. Okay, Hook 3.0. So, firstly, Hook is pulling targets 3.5 meters away, up from 2 meters. Now this is important. It's almost doubling the distance between the Hog and the Hook target. Some people have talked about an increased travel time for Hog's pellets. Okay, that's going to be roughly 75% increased travel time, but Hog, if you hooked someone in and left click, it's almost an instant shot anyway. So this is going to change travel time from instant to near instant, and it's the balance between those two that may or may not affect the combo, as well as how heroes who have been hooked can actually react. Now, as I said, I'm not a great Roadhog, I don't play him a lot, I need 2 more, so excuse this game footage. But the basic combo that you do try and pull off as the Hogmeister is a right click if you can, catching people in some of that spread of the flak, you then hook them in, you then have a left mouse button, click, hold down, all ready to go, and then once that's gone off you hit a melee. That's what you generally use to try and one-shot those 200 HP characters, and as for characters with more HP, depending on how many pellets you get into their headshot box, sometimes you can headshot higher health characters as well. This change is important because of melee distance. It's around 3 meters if you play around with it on the training range. So Roadhog is going to have to be more accurate or step forward in that small piece of time after you've hooked someone when they are stunned. Some characters who have slightly funny hitboxes, Arnas of this world for example, if they're running around or moving, might be able to dodge or move a bit. Maze and Reapers on the other hand are going to have more of a chance to get away with their various escape abilities, and this is particularly relevant when you have a look at the cooldown of Hook. Now those extra 2 seconds are very important, as any Hog player I'm sure will tell you, but they also bring Hog's Hook in line with other defensive abilities. So those extra 2 seconds bring Hog's Hook up to the level of Genji's Deflect in terms of timing, Zarya's Team Shield, and Reaper's Wraith Form. So for example, Zarya can now be denying hooks that Roadhog throws, providing she gets the shield on the teammate before the hook lands, while Genji won't have to cower and fear quite so much from Hook while Reflect is on cooldown. The timings are coming together, meaning that a Hog can throw a hook, and a Zarya or a Genji, depending on the timing, could in theory be ready to counter it. Finally, remember the incoming defense matrix changes to D.Va as well, that a lot of people have mentioned already. Now D.Va's defense matrix on PTR has already had a bit of a tweak and is working thus. Previously there was a minimum distance. Defense matrix wouldn't block shots until they were a very small distance away from the muzzle of the gun that shot them. This mattered a lot in certain situations, such as blocking an ally from getting killed by a Roadhog hook combo. The patch on the PTR, according to Jeff Goodman, has tried to remove this minimum distance entirely, so the projectiles are eaten directly out of the muzzle. So in theory, D.Vas can now be saving allies from Roadhog hooks by covering them with the defense matrix, which doesn't work on live right now. That feels pretty good, but it's another thing that's kind of tweaking this ability of Roadhog to land his hook combo, as well as moving targets in theory just out of melee range. So a bunch of buffs, it's very interesting. Some people are seeing it as a bit of a 6 of one, half a dozen of another. You're giving Roadhog something in terms of decreasing his spread for a bit more damage, but by moving targets a little bit further away when they've been hooked, there's this additional ability perhaps for them to escape or a teammate to take some other action before the combo goes off. Should be some interesting changes. Hopefully it doesn't remove Hog out of effectiveness completely, because his hook's a huge and very characteristic part of his kit, but it gives people a few more ways to react to it. We'll have to see. And also, will Roadhog become even more of a damage dealing machine than he is already? A lot of people have said that tanks in Overwatch are dealing a lot of damage right now, with perhaps the exception of Winston. Is Roadhog just going to become even more nasty? Winston buffs, well, about time we can quickly summarise these. His critical hit volume has been reduced by 50%, and the dev notes from Jeff Goodman said that his head hit volume was just abnormally big, making him take more damage than he otherwise should. This change brings it more in line with other heroes. This is kind of true. Winston has been just a big bullet sponge, and even more so than the other tanks. With the tweak his shield had early in the days of Overwatch, from being a bit ridiculously strong, you could just throw it on a payload and it would sit there forever, to the semi-effective deterrent it is now, if you dance in and out of it and get shielded from either side. The big guy has, well, been somewhat relegated behind Reinhardt, Roadhog, D.Va Zarya, kind of last place in our day-to-day Overwatch. Winston still has a healthy pick rate in pro games, but this is generally because pro or organised teams tend to look after him and support him, and also the Winston player uses him in the right way, diving in, disrupting the enemy position, not going for kills and just dying, perhaps with Ana healing him from afar, and then diving out again, making sure that he uses his mobility to strongest effect, rather than being a suicide gorilla. If he's had too large of a head, all those brains that he uses to design chronal accelerators, a result of his gene therapy clearly, that explains a lot. Not only is Winston a large target anyway, but probably taking more headshot critical damage than he should. Ouch. Critical hit volume being reduced, the main thing is to see if this still makes sense when firing at Winston. For example, if the critical hit box still sits well with his head model, so you feel you're getting a headshot when you shoot his head basically. If so, all good. It should make him a bit more durable. It's a small tweak, I know a lot of Winston players will feel that this perhaps isn't enough to bring him in, but we need to see how it ties in with everything else. After that, let's see if he gets into play a little more. There we go, some more changes incoming. Great to see the Overwatch team being very active in balancing very early this year already. If you can get onto the PC public test realm, you download it by changing it to be the region in your Overwatch PC launcher in the bottom left of your screen. Do give the new patch a go. Remember, there's also the Bastion changes, quite big changes there that are coming in, as well as Mercy changes right now too. And a big thing, custom game modes, which everyone is having a lot of fun with, and I've shared some footage of here. I'm going to do some more videos on those soon. It's a really fun new way to play Overwatch. Roadhog mains, how do you find him right now? Do you think these changes are going to hurt him too much perhaps? Or will you be running around in flat cannon clouds of delight? Roadhog victims, does this sound a little bit fairer to you? How about any Winston players? Are you looking forward to him not eating so many bullets? Do let me know your thoughts in the comments. Cheers for tuning in. Do check out my latest lore videos as always that I specialise in on the left, or a playlist of all my latest Overwatch videos including news as it happens and more on the right. Do throw a like, let me know your thoughts in the comments, and subscribe if you'd like to see more. I've been Hammy. Take it easy.